Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads, and also welcome back, if for you return travelers and viewers, to a kind of homebrew type of thing on the channel. I haven't done these in a long time. We did a character build one time, and that was it. But this one is not that. This one is something that hopefully will become more common for the Inn of Planar Crossroads as we move forward through the years of making stuff. We're putting together some, for those that don't know, I homeschool my kids. So we're putting together I guess you would say a little, not course, but it's kind of like practice with math and problem solving and stuff like that I'm calling Adventure Academia. Or for the youngest kids, adventure arithmetic, so that they can just get down their maths a little bit. But the thing that I want to share with everybody today is my working ideas for handouts that I'm using with the kids. And maybe if this develops and the kids enjoy it, this will be able to be something that could actually be published, whether that's through Seventh Sphere with Open Legend itself, or what have you. But all that is for the future. Right now, this is going to work kind of like a development vlog or diary or whatever you want to say, and also as a video for the kids, that you can use to remind yourselves what you're on and what we talked about last time. So at least as far as flavor text, which is what you guys are going to get this time. So how I have this worked out for you guys that might want to either take this set up and use it yourself, or you want to do something similar with a different setting to help young kids get into tabletopping. I've got some setting information here that you can see, but I've left these spaces here so that the kids can draw their own ideas of what I'm describing in these flavor text. That is like something they can take home and do. So I think that'll work well for the kids. I'll let y'all know in the next development update thing. It's an 8-week thing that the kids are doing with the homeschool group. So we'll see how it all goes. But I figured I would read these for the kids so that they could reference them again, especially since some of these kids are going to be from K to 2 in grade, so really young primary. This will let them reference that again. So, adventure awaits. We find the large island realm of Atar in the 2600th year of the Warren era, so called because the Warrens still rule from the golden castle at the center of Atar. While the rule of the Warrens has been mostly peaceful, the threat posed by the 3 great dragons, Grum the Dauntless, Rexus the Demoniacal, and Yarzite the Regal, have festered and grown. Roadways that once allowed safe passage through the labyrinthine and varied biomes of the land have become dangerous. Now champions must rise to challenge Now champions must rise to the challenge of freeing the realm of Atar from the fear that clutches at the heart of the people. Will they succeed? Will they fail? That is up to you. So that's Adventure Awaits. There's some nice flavor text for y'all. That's for the lead-in, for you people wanting to try and use this. For you students, we're going to the Realm of Atar next. This is some flavor text for the Realm of Atar. It has the biggest section here because this is where you guys can draw your map of the island kind of in general. So, the flavor text reads, "The Realm of Atar is a strange and varied land. It is a large island sitting in a clear blue sea. In the middle of the island is a sizable valley surrounded completely by jagged mountains, where lies the golden castle of the Warrens. The highest of these mountains are on the west of the valley, separating it from the desert. This desert spreads all the way to the sea on that side of the island, and is said to be the home of the red dragon Rexus. Opposite this desert is a huge forest that has grown up through the ages to become a strange and foreboding place. The residents of this enchanted wood know well the tyranny of Grum, the green dragon. The southern border of the valley has the lowest mountains, being little more than hills at their smallest. This part of the island is filled with swamps, wetlands, and danger. Careful boatmen and shipwrights have been able to occasionally make their way all the way to the sea with these waterways, but most have been lost to the creatures of the bogs. Finally, the north of the island is covered in an almost perpetual blanket of snow. Aside from the occasional, but thick, patches of evergreens, the north seems to be a barren tundra. Some say that Yarzite, the yellow dragon, makes his home there, but there is little proof that the menacing creature actually does so. So that paints a word picture for them they can write down in here. And this is the general layout and biomes of the land. There's a lot more in my head about what Atar looks like and all the how it's arranged and such, but there's no real reason to, and this is a tip for somebody wanting to do something with this before it's published. Well, it's in, I guess this would be like super beta or whatever. This whole thing's going to be up and going as we go along, but that's just the biomes. I'm only going to be describing things as I go along that they actually need. So that's a tip for you guys. The center land, or the shining land. The island's center mass is dominated by a beautiful valley formed from the caldera of an extinct volcano. Dotting this fertile center land are many quaint villages and idyllic farms, populated mostly by humans and halflings, though don't be surprised if you see the occasional elf or beast folk. These little communities grow the majority of the food that all of Atar consumes. Wherever you find yourself in this picturesque landscape, the glistening spiral towers of the golden castle of the Warrens and the surrounding city of bronze are visible. So they can draw out what they think that mountainous caldera would look like, as well as the land within the valley. And how I'm going to handle it with the kids is that the kids, if they don't know what a caldera is, for instance, that's an education point. That's an opportunity to educate. So if you're using this for kids, don't be afraid to throw in words they don't know. Like, there's a lot of words in here that kindergartners aren't going to understand. But that doesn't mean that you would then not use them. You instead expose them to those words so that they can then become curious and ask, or just ask in the middle of a class without waiting. So sometimes that happens. But like caldera, they're not going to know what that means. Extinct, they may not know what that means. So on and so forth, for tips for the fellow educator, even if you're an amateur educator out there. And then finally, the final piece of flavor text, as it were, is the Bronze City, or the City of Towers. And I try to give at least two names for this. The Realm of Atar has one name, but the Center Land or the Shining Land, depending on who you ask, those inside call it most of the time it's called the Center Land, but sometimes it's called the Shining Land because of what we see with the City of Bronze, or the City of Towers. Mostly called the City of Bronze because of the towers. So, built on both sides of the river Robinet, I'm going to have to work that out. Built on both sides of the River Robinette, the city of Bronze is the largest and most influential location in all of Atar. The people of Centerland depend on it. The people of Centerland depend on it for their commerce. So do many of those more peaceful folk, as do many of those more peaceful folk from beyond the valley. Creatures from around the realm come to trade, mingle, and parley with the Warren. You'll see humans and halflings. There are also many elves and beastmen from the eastern woodlands. The mountain folk occasionally visit, usually dwarves or gnomes bearing stone, metal, or gems. Even the rare sprite or fae might be spotted. Some of this eclectic mix of peoples come to pay homage at the Temple of Light, the largest of its kind in Atar. Visitors rest easy so long as the gargantuan, ever-vigilant, jewel-encrusted, enchanted towers ward off those dangerous dragons. So there we go. And they can doodle out what they see in their mind with the word picture. And I think this will work well for cementing in ideas. You kids, if you kids ever do watch this, and you get to the point where you can comment down below, you can comment down below on whether you think it was helpful for you. But that is what we have for this. And I do want to show off how I'm organizing the information on here as far as character sheets. My current intention, and we'll see how this plays out, is to not remove anything from the character sheet. With those younger ones, and I did this with my son when I started playing games with him, tabletop with him. I didn't dumb it down. I didn't make it any less complicated than it might have been. All I did was walk him through those complications. So for instance, and this will play out as of recording. When I'm recording, it'll play out tomorrow. But Wilhelm the warrior is a young minotaur from the village on the far side of Atar that seeks to free his people from the tyranny of Grum. So he's from the he's one of the beastmen from the beast folk from the eastern woodland. So this is just a level 1, all that type of stuff. And this is how I have it laid out on a table. So you're free to steal this and use it in your campaigns and your little bits of information and handouts that you make, or if you make your own sheets, you can do that. And this is how I have it worked out with attributes, feats, equipment, favored banes, favored actions, separate from banes and boons, and you'll see that in a second. But I'm going to show off briefly each of the characters. And something I'm doing is the kids didn't make a character. So for you LMs out there and players that have played tabletop games before, I made up 4 characters that the kids will run together in situations, and they'll work together. And these whenever they want to do something, they'll reference these character sheets, and we will work together and look at them and say, this is what you would roll. What is the result now? And so on and so forth. And as we go through, I will try to give you guys, like I said, a kind of vlog update on how this all works out. And you guys get to tag along for, like I said, super beta of a PDF type of thing that we might try to release. But I've got it listed here. I listed the feed information over here, really abbreviated. Definitely not for rules lawyering. It is not all of the information that is in the feats or the banes or the boons when they come up. It is definitely mainly just for reference for this character. And there are some banes or boons that they would technically have access to through their attributes, for those that know how Open Legend works, that are not going to be listed in here necessarily because they don't fit the character's theming, which is something that we watch for in Open Legend. So there's plenty of note space in a lot of these pages for the kids, and each of these pages are able to fold in half, so they can make notes on the back if they need to do scratch paper for how much damage does this roll do, or something like that. Tried to give a little flavor, like cry, claymore, sing, bowstring, for the Wilhelm, the Minotaur warrior. But that is that for him. The next one was Remigius the rogue. So we've got a warrior and a rogue. After getting in trouble with the authorities in his youth, this human is now making up for his past misdeeds. I imagine him, I gave him these right here because they're very roguey, but I gave him short-winded because I imagine that he is on the later end of middle age, starting to gray in his stubbly beard, keeps his hood up type of thing, but also smokes a pipe, so he's a bit short-winded. That's how I imagine him being. So we've got the normal things here. He has several more bits and bobs because he's got thieves' tools and other things that might come into play from his past misdeeds, as were mentioned. And he has more banes. I decided that we'd have a bruiser, kind of warrior type of setup, not full-on barbarian, but a warrior, and then a rogue with those bane actions that could be taken, and a few boons. I imagine that he uses a bit of his influence to kind of like the now you see me, now you don't. That's a concealment. Boon he has access to. Blow, ebb and breeze. He can make darkness because he's had some experience with that type of thing. Telepathy I thought he could use for, actually would fit him for being slightly magical like we're talking about, though as we progress through the character I'm not sure how much we would invest in that, but that's for later on if they ever start to need that. But he had a lot of bane information and a lot of to list off, and a few boons, but they're all there. You can fit it in if you get the type small enough, but thankfully this type did not have to be too small to fit in. I think this is a 10 over here, a 10 point, and this is a 9 point for this information, which isn't unheard of in handouts or in other things, other media that you get. Let me see. Maximilian the Mage, this is probably my favorite one that came out of this whole little thing. Maximilian the Mage, after a magical accident, he has been changed into a 2.5 foot tall bipedal possum. He still dresses as a mage. I imagine him running around with his little staff with the fire crystal in it, with his full-on, like Gandalf pointy hat, blue with stars and moons on his blue robes that he would wear, and they're the stars and moon gambeson that grants 1 guard for him because he can wear it. So theming those things was fun. He was a lot of fun to make up, and I've got him. One thing I did give him that actually plays into him being a possum, or being changed into a possum, is the disease immunity. Disease immunity perk is treated more like a venom or poison immunity, since some large possum varieties are immune to rattlesnake venom. So that is cool. I thought that was fun for him. That allowed a lot of flavor to be brought in. Socially awkward, upper class, and then uncoordinated, because I see him as once an assistant to a court mage, or someone associated with the mage court. But pretty good. And I built him with some attacking abilities, some banes, through the fire that he uses, and we might sprinkle other crystals in there as they find loot. Kids, adventurers like loot, even little adventurers. But we'll sprinkle those in, and I wanted him to be more focused on a buffing up the other players, the frontliners. Though he can himself, if his banes are already up, his boons are already up, then he can, cast a fireball, fire ray or something. So we got flaming ray, fiery rain. The banes were all single things like ignition and heat cage. So ignition is like he tries to ignite them and cause that persistent damage through energy, and so on and so forth. I did give him like a little mage servant thing with the telekinesis, my little helper, since he already was investing in movement with haste. So there is that. And he did spec into haste quite a bit, because haste is pretty good. Haste is pretty good. But, let me see. Anyway, he has the most information, which is understandable for a mage character. And then finally we have the healer, because I think it'd be good for them to have somebody who could heal. I did not build this healer for melee. She is Heldagarde the healer. Young but determined, this human from the Temple of Healing in the Bronze City is ready to help any she sees in need. So I had that very characteristic idea for her. As she develops as a character, she would get, her own things going. But between the two magic users, so her healing magic and, Maximilian's movement and other magic, definitely had a big set of things to kind of squeeze in there if I could. And it worked out. Nothing went too crazy. And nothing went too far or too big. But she's set up the normal way I've got the others set up. Banes, boons. She doesn't have attacking actions because she doesn't have favored actions for attacking because that's not her thing. She is a buffer and a debuffer. So she does have banes that she invokes, like see or sin, be still and know. I rebuke thee, and please ease your mind, which is technically a bane, but she does use it in a more positive way sometimes. It's a mind dredge, but it's not meant to be malicious all the time. Just because something's a bane doesn't mean it's always malicious, I guess. Works for her theming. But most of her stuff is boons, like prayer of healing, verse of encouragement, litany of empowerment, hymn of healing, blessings, insight, and psalm of manifestation, which actually was kind of hard to theme around. I was interested in how I would get that Genesis boon to be themed in a statement, but worked out. Psalm of manifestation. Anyway, that worked out for them. These are the characters: Heldagarde the healer, Maximilian the mage, Remigius the rogue, and Wilhelm the warrior. And if you are on the Open Legend Discord, these were already shared. These are basically the same as what is on the Hero Forge link to their character sheets that was already posted. But I hope that was edifying for you guys out there. I needed to make some content for this week, and this worked out. So I was making this content anyway it was getting busy making this for the kids and their using of the game to help them better understand math, and for the little bit older kids, not just math but logic problems, and using those problems to solve. Using that logic to solve other things. So, should be fun. I hope that they enjoy it, and I hope that you travelers and viewers enjoyed it also. So, as always, have a great day. Oh, wait. I forgot to say. This content is supported by travelers and viewers like you. Even though it's always at the end, I never end up saying it in the video, so I said it this time. It's supported by travelers and viewers like you. Now it's, as always, have a great day. God bless and enjoy. Bye.
This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to the inn of Planar Crossroads. Such a lovely place, Still gotta get that made. Gotta make that video. That song parody. Been working on it.